Okay, so what we're here to talk about is what makes a good commit. Good practices for all, not best, but good practices. And if that's not what you want to hear about at 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning, then feel free to go to one of the other sessions. That's quite okay. Of course, we say thank you to the sponsors, and we do this every time because it's really important that you understand that without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. So when you interact with them, when you buy their products with your company and they say, where did you hear about us? You say, PowerShell Conference Europe. Then hopefully they'll give us money again next year. We can keep doing this. So my name is Rob. Most important thing on there is my contact details are all from that one website. You can always find them. Ways of contacting me. Feel free to contact me about anything. It is your responsibility to remind me when I have not responded. Yeah, because I get a load of stuff coming at me. So don't feel shy about going, oh, I sent you a message 2 weeks ago. That's totally, I will not be offended at all. I do open source stuff, DBA tools, DBA checks, and Microsoft think that I talk so much about stuff that I should be an MVP. So yay, I still am MVP for another 5 days. Then it's renewal time in the 1st of July, so we shall see. I pretty much know the answer. No, it's okay. It's all right, Constantine. It's fine. You come in. It's all right. You've missed the first bit, but you're okay. Normally, if I do this sort of session at other places and I ask this question, it takes people time to think. Here, I'm pretty sure I say, who commits code? Everybody. Yeah, everybody writes code. So there's this famous quote. Well, okay, you might never have heard it before, but there's this quote by this famous bearded guy that says, all teams that write code must use Git. So what's Git? Git is a version control system for tracking changes in files. What I am missing is my notes. Please, may I have my notes? Good. Thank you very much. Written by Linus Torvalds. Yes, that one. The one that wrote Linux. Yeah, pretty cool. 2005 that he did this. This is literal magic. Okay? The stuff that happens underneath the hood in Git, magic. Anyway, what we're talking about here is the ability to have a remote repository. That means that our teams can collaborate together on the same piece of code. And it works like this. You have your remote place, that's your source of truth, that's where everybody lives. A developer will pull that code onto their own workstation, and they will make their changes, and then they will push their code back up to a remote repository, and then more magic can happen. We have Git installed on our local machine. If you take nothing else from this session, remember this. Okay? The power of your version control lies in merging many code changes from multiple developers smoothly while documenting the entire timeline and the context. That is why we need to use source control. That is why we need to have our commit. Question I often get asked is Git, GitHub, GitLab, they are all more or less using the same git.exe under the scenes. Yeah? Even if you're running a Git server on your own hardware somewhere, that is also doing the same thing. Just GitHub, Azure repos, they all put some fancy prettiness over the top to keep management happy. I swear, the only reason we have pretty pictures is to keep management happy. So what is a commit? Silence phone. What is a commit message? What is a commit? A commit references the changes in flat files between what you had before and what you have now. Okay? Not binary files. So no zip files, no PowerPoint. It doesn't know the changes in there. It knows something changed, but it can't tell you what the changes are. Can be more than one file. Can be not all of the changes within the file. It's like a road trip. It's linear. It's always going forward. I talk to a lot of DBAs and I say it's like a transaction. It's like a SQL Server LSN, log sequence number. It's always going forward. And they say, yeah, but Rob, you can restore your database back and it can, like, yeah. And you can do a git revert and restore back to a previous time. And what that does is it replays all of the transactions to get you where you are, which is what a SQL database does when you do a restore. So we're in the same place. Another way of thinking about it, maybe your Git log, is like a journal or a diary. At the end of every day, you record what you did. Not very often will you go back and make a change to that. And that's pretty much like your Git log. It's always going to be recorded every time that you make a change. And every now and again, you might go back and go, oh no, this commit message should be different. Or this might be taken out. What's a commit message? So the commit message process looks like this. We start off with a git status. And in this example, it says, I have 4 files. 4 red files are new ones. They are untracked and they are available. I'm going to do a git add dot to stage those files. These are the changes that I would like to make ready for this particular commit to reference. See, I'm beginning to add specific words in here so you understand how this works. And then once you've done that, you then do a git commit -m, put in your git commit message, and it's going to do something like this. Here, because we are creating new files, it's going to do a create mode. Which one's this? 164. If you wish to look up what those are, then go and enjoy yourself and dive deep into that nerdery. And it's telling us we're adding these new texts. And then we're going to have our commit message and we're going to have our SHA. I always got to be here for this. A git SHA, secure hash algorithm. This is the thing that magically works for Git. Okay. What it does is it tracks every commit, every file, every object is identified, and then a 40-character hexadecimal string is generated using a cryptographic hash function. And that means that it ensures that every time there is a change to anything inside that directory, this SHA no longer exists, and now Git knows. That's how VS Code does that. Twiddly, twiddly, twiddly. Oh, 1 change, 2 changes, 3 changes. Like I said, literal magic. Yeah. Even more magic, be on a branch, look at your file system, switch to a new branch, take away all the files, look at your file system, we're like, where'd they all go? Switch back your branch. What, they're back again? Like, it literally astounds me every time I do that. It fascinates me. Okay, pop quiz. That means I am asking you a question. What should a commit message not contain? Shout it out. Did some stuff. Excellent. Next. A file that was changed. Yep. Secrets. Definitely. Swear words. Yep. As I said, if my wife was in this session, then you would hear vulgarity. She wouldn't say the word vulgarity, but she would use vulgarity because she thinks it's funny. Unrelated information. Yep. Stuff that looks like this. You see it? Okay. Are you ready? This is a rant. If you are doing this, it is like you are just getting rid of those cookie messages. I don't care. I want to see the website. You are forgetting the whole point of having source control and being able to work collaboratively. Now that you have been to this session and I've scanned the room, I know all of you. If I see you doing this, I will call you out. Okay? Promise. There's no point just saying dot. What does that achieve? Makes no use to anybody at all. Why? Because any tool can show you what has changed. Remember, Git is literal magic. And the way that it exists in the GUI, Azure DevOps, GitHub, whatever GUI you're using, VS Code, is going to show you a commit like this, where you can see what is the difference, red and green, right? You can do it on the command line. Yeah? On the command line, you can see Chrissy Lemaire rocks. She does, but you could do a git diff, and you can see the stuff in green was added, the stuff in red was taken away. Okay? In your code. I don't need you to put in, I added a thing to this file. I can see that. Easy. Okay, so a commit message should definitely contain... Wait a minute. Didn't you just say that a commit message shouldn't contain the what? Should contain what you intended it to mean. Our company has just taken on a new Swedish company, and now our product must cope with Swedish characters. I have added the regex for Swedish characters. Oh, my friend Bruce says, bless your hearts. I mean, he's not American, but he would say that if he was. Bless your heart. You think that what you've done is add the regex for Norwegian characters, but actually what you've done is made it worse. But at least you tried. Okay. If I've just put dot, then Bruce has got to look at that code, have a look through. What's this doing? Oh, it's doing some regex. Okay, hang on a minute. Oh, work out what this regex is doing. Oh, it's doing a thing. Is it the right thing? I don't know. A git commit message could show why the change was made, so that we can process Swedish customers. Yeah. Ah, right. Now I can see what is going on here. A commit message should explain the change for others. If you do a good commit message, you are documenting what is happening within your project, within your code, so that people can see how this has come along. This is related to issue 765 for new Swedish customers. Yeah. This will go out in release version 3.1.1 for onboarding of Swedish company. Okay. These are the things that we're going to put into this. Because we understand now what a git commit message is for. You've heard me just explaining it. It can be for peer review. Bruce, does this code do what we think it should do? The commit message helps to have that conversation. Maybe it's the pull request for version 3.3.3. Now I can approve this knowing what it is supposed to be doing, or make some suggestions. Do a bit of collaboration work together to ensure that we can build a great product. Once we've got our Git log with all of our commit message history, we can make use of it far more ways than just seeing what has happened for this particular time. Maybe in 6 months' time, we take over a Danish company. and I want to look through my Git log, and I want to see when we had all of those messages about the Swedish regex, because probably I'm going to do something fairly similar for the Danish one. If I do git log --all --grep with a fix, then I will make these slides available, so you don't have to take photos. You can, absolutely, but the slides will be available. This is now going to enable me to find wildcard all of the git commit messages with that string in. Maybe it's the reference to an issue. Maybe it's the reference to a release. Some of those things you're going to do with tags, but if you know what you're looking for, then that's cool. Find all of the bad commit messages that you have made. Blaming! You have done this wrong. This is not where Bruce sits me down and says, no, Rob, this is not how you do regex. You don't understand how this works. Blaming is a very specific Git term, the Git blame. It is showing the association between the person, the author of this commit, and the piece of code that we've got inside it. Maybe I know that this regex was to do with a variable called customers in my code, but I'm blowed if I can remember anything else about it. Wouldn't it be great if I could go through my Git log and I could find any changes that I made, maybe to a function internally called get-customer? Yeah. You can. If you use git show --prettier equals fuller -S and the string that you want to search for, that's my wife's name because it made it easy for me to find, then you can then find within your Git log every piece of code that was changed with that string, and then see what the commit message was and when it was changed. Neat, huh? All of this by making good commit messages. Absolutely useless if I go and find the get-customer code that's been changed and I look at the commit message and it says Rob changed it 6 months ago with a commit message of ... You know when you open some code you haven't looked at for 6 months? And you're like, which idiot wrote this? Oh, it was me. Yeah, okay, yeah. Always think about this. We're commenting our code, we're writing git commits for future ourselves, and the person that replaces you at your company who knows where you live. You can use your git commit messages to tell a story. You can look at how a file has evolved. This is a DBA checks file, and the story of Claudio going from to Pesta v5 implemented. You can do useful stuff. You can do automation. We love automation. So we can tag automatically our work to an issue, an item, a task, a bug. Normally, we would use the hash sign. If you're American, it's a pound sign, but I'd call it a hash sign. Something like this. Git commit -m, my amazing message, plus the number of the thing. If you like GUIs, Azure repos, GitHub, you're going to have that drop down as soon as you put the hash in. You can automatically close issues. In GitHub, it's really simple. You can just use close and then the hash and then number of the issue for that particular issue. Or you can use closers, or you can use closed, or fix, or fixes, or fixed, or resolve, or resolved, or resolved. And if you wish to do that in a different repository, like get the PowerPoint and find that table, because I'm not explaining that. In Azure Boards, you can do the same thing. We can close our work items in Azure Boards. Luckily, fix, fixed, or fixes. That's the only keyword that we need here. And then we can add in, case insensitive. Thank you so much. You can optionally add some sort of colon in if you wish to do that. And you can close multiple ones as well, which is kind of neat. You can automate your release notes. If you have a GitHub PR, you can just ping, hit that generate release notes, bang. All of your commit messages since the last PR or for this PR are going to be available to you. There's some documentation. You can automate your release notes in Azure DevOps using this one from Richard Fennell. And also, I noticed that there is actually a place where you can add them to a PR in Azure repos as well now. Of course, if you're working on your home project, the longer that you spend writing your code, the shorter and more rubbish your commit messages get. Yeah. Okay. What's the hardest part of working in IT? Okay, good. Communication. Yeah. I was going to say the pink bubbles, pink balloons with red inside them with egos. But, communication is fine. The human beings is the hardest thing. So how do we fix this? Just like anything we do when we're working in a team, you need to discuss it. That means talk to each other. I'm sorry. You need to agree upon it. That means putting your ego back in the box. I'm sorry. Once you have done that, you document it and then you follow it. I don't care if you always have your braces on the next line. If the team have agreed that your braces go on the same line, your braces go on the same line because we're working together and a team to do the same thing. For our commit messages, that's what we will do. So what should a commit message look like? What language should it be written in? What sort of capitalization should we have? See previous message. Title, a body. Do we reference our work items at the beginning or at the end? I think you should have a clear, concise message. When I'm working with teams, I will have something like this. An action word. A do, an added, a removed, a created, updated. An item. A feature, a class, a function, a procedure, a view. A reference to an issue, to a work item, to a Confluence thing, to some snow ticket, because the boss said so. Yeah? Because then I can look back in my code and I can see this change was made. Why was this made change? Because the boss said so. All right, okay. Yeah. When the boss says, why did he make this change? Well, yeah, actually, it's because you said so. You can follow some rules that look like this, that define a way of creating a commit message that is useful for your team. That's a good place you can start. You can find that link in the slides. You didn't think I wasn't going to talk about AI, yeah? I mean, come on. I have 5 minutes left. Of course I'm going to talk about AI. So, VS Code. I love VS Code. VS Code is amazing. And when you have a commit message, when you have a commit ready, you have this commit message box. And up at the top of the box, you have these sparkles. I love them. I don't know what they really are, but I call them sparkles because if you hover over them, it says generate commit message with Copilot. Yay. It's amazing. Yeah, we'll do that one. So you press the button and it says, I've added a script to generate random commit messages and create the corresponding files. Let's have some demos. So let's have, excuse me, VS Code. I would really appreciate it if you were not just a big white screen. Okay. Be like that. Try that again. There we go. Oh, don't give it away. So if we look over here, now needs to rescan, find our changes. It says, oh, look, yeah, we've got a change here. I've already staged it, ready. Got this new bad commit generator. Everything is green because I've simulated adding this file. This is just the PowerShell I use to generate a load of bad commits. Yeah, it's just some things like that. And now I can come over here and I press this button. It's going to go fizz, 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 fizz. And it's going to create me something like that. Somebody needs to take a picture of that and tag Chrissy Lemaire in it, please. And it says, generate bad commit messages script. Here is my title. I add a PowerShell script that generates a series of bad commit messages in a Git repository. It's going to help users understand what not to do when writing commit messages. And it says, thank you, Chrissy Lemaire, for this amazing contribution. Jeffrey Snover is proud of you. It's cool, isn't it? Yeah, I know. How did I do that? I did this session at SQL Bits on, I don't know what day it is today. Saturday, I think I did it in Bits. And Chrissy was there. So I changed this to make it do that. And she literally sat at in the front row and she's like, how did you do that? And I'm like, yes. Well, I can finally show something that Chrissy doesn't know how to do. I'm like, yes. I don't know how many years, 12 years, 13 years I've been dying to do that. So how did I do that? So if we go to our settings in VS Code and we search for our Copilot, let's make you go away. That's not what I wanted to search for. Yes, it is. We could do Copilot, we'll do commit. There we go. And what you end up is this. If you have really hot, sweaty hands and you try and use your pad, it doesn't really work very well. So you have this Copilot chat commit message generator instructions. And you can either use a prompt that you give it in natural language, or you can add in a file. So you say in your settings, file and a file name. Now, to me, it seemed to make sense to, where have we gone? Somewhere down here. Keep on going. Commit. Boink. There we go. Seemed to make sense to put it in the .github file because, that seems to be a good place to put this stuff. And to give it a name that made sense. So Copilot commit message instructions is just a markdown file, right? Cool beans. And in there, we can put something that looks like this. So we go. Say thank you to Chrissy Lemaire. Be full of praise and gratitude about the amazing changes. But look at the rest of it. The rest of it looks pretty much like the instructions and that we'd agreed were what we wanted for our commit message. So, I love you, Chrissy. Thank you so much. But let's take that away and, the body should end with a period. There we go. Okay. So now we have something like this. We're going to save that. And I leave my stage change and so that this change doesn't interfere. I repress the sparkles. And now it's going to say this. So we're going to add a script. Thank you for this fantastic contribution. Hang on. Okay. Be really sarcastic and shouty. Full stop. I have no idea what it's going to say. This is going to be brilliant. Here we go. Oh, did I not save it? Oh, let's try this. Thank you. Otherwise, I'd be looking. Generate a script that created bad commit messages. This script randomly generates a series of bad commit messages in a Git repository because who doesn't want clutter in their history with this nonsense? I love Copilot so much. Who on the front row is Swedish? No? What language do you speak? Dutch. Oh, Dutch. Oh, my word. Let's see what happens with this. I've done this with many languages. It's kind of fun. Write in Dutch. Okay, so you're going to have to tell me if it's correct, but also if it's sarcastic. Okay? So now we're going to say like this. Sounds stupid, but actually, if you're working with a team in Holland, maybe you want to have 2 languages in your commit messages, you have a one title and then a description. It's exactly the same, but it's just translated. Okay, but it's still, that's pretty cool, yeah? Okay, so this shows you how much you can save. And now, because you've built it into your repository, just like your VS Code settings, just like, trim white space, all of these other things you can add into your workspace to make life useful. You can add this in, which means that you can quickly and easily ensure that your entire team is doing the same thing. Do it from the current slide, Rob. So there we go. Oh, and now you've added the translations back on. So this is so that when you look in the PowerPoint, you can go back and find it. I didn't even show you the German. Okay. It's time for question and answers. I was expecting there to be a slide that said, no matter what you do, don't leave this room and use a dot as your commit message. And it had this great picture of a Viking going, because I'm watching. So I am a couple of minutes over time. I know that source control, Git, commit messages generally generate a lot of questions. Give me questions. Yes, boss. Everybody. No, I should add this into my presentation because everybody asks this. And the question is it possible for me to enforce my developers to ensure that they put these Git commit messages in? So the answer is yes, but. Okay? So yes, you can use commit hooks that are saved locally with your repo. And the commit hook is basically, it's a bit more complicated. It's a bit difficult to say. It's a bit more complicated than this, but it is basically a bash script that will run before you create the commit. Okay. So now you're going to have to write this bash script to be able to generate some regex to do a thing. Normally it's used to run a set of unit tests to ensure that you don't push bad code in. But you can absolutely do it to make sure that your commit message is there. But you're going to have to do some work to do that. Excellent question. Thank you. Hi, Joe. Do you have a question? Oh, okay. I can answer, You want to know about commit messages? No. Any more? Yes, boss.
Right. A lot of method is like fix something, fix until you get it right in this stage. So I understand that this is not a good practice, but as soon as you're fixing, you can reset your history to one commit and then write the correct message.
So the statement, which I'm going to turn into a question so I can answer for you. Statement is, look, Rob, what I do is I keep writing some code and running some tests to try and fix some stuff. And I just don't want to write all of this because I don't know if it's going to work yet. And I'm worried that my team are going to think that I'm stupid because I kept trying all this stuff and not realizing. So what about, I can just do this and then I can revert all this history and just do one single commit. Absolutely. Or you could branch off this branch, do the work with whatever is useful to you, and then merge that into your branch with one commit. The important thing is that all of that stuff is happening locally to your machine only for you. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. That's not important because I'm never going to see that you put fix, 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 fix. It's never going to be an annoyance to the rest of your team that that's all you've got. Yeah. It's be annoyance to you when you wake up the next morning and go, which one of those fixes was it? But you're only annoying yourself and that's fine. Yeah. Once you've finished that and you've got it ready, absolutely. Then you merge it into whatever your feature branch might be, and then you're going to use it. At that point, when other people are going to see that commit message, yeah? Is that fair? Excellent. There was another question at the back, or somebody had a scratchy nose. Can I? No. No, I cannot. No. What I will do, though, if we still have it, do I still have it? Right, I still have it. What I'm going to do is I am going to send it. You can't see my screen. No, you can't see my screen. Okay. I am going to not send it right now. I'll get Barbara to read it out on the grounds that she's Dutch. If it had been German, I would have done it. If we were in Swedish, I would have asked somebody here to do it. So, no, you're not getting away with that. I managed to get through an entire conference without being embarrassed into trying to speak Dutch, and I'm not going to start on the last day. For those of you that are new to PowerShell Conference, it is another long-standing joke, like wearing a silly suit, where Barbara tries to get me to say some Dutch in some form or another about something. But there we go. So, nice try. I appreciate the effort. No. Okay, we still have some more minutes for questions. Come on. I had more questions as SQL bits. The data folk who don't do commit messages, who don't use source control, who literally have systems that use source control where you cannot write a message at all. Yes, Azure Synapse Analytics, I'm looking at you. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes, boss.
Code that gives me like a commit message after the fact. Is it still important to write text?
Seeing as you can now write your commit messages with AI, is it still important to ensure that you write good text? Have you met AI? Yeah. It is literally a blah, 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 blah generator. It's going to be pretty good, but it's not going to be perfect. It is a co-pilot. It sits alongside you, tells you which way to go, advises you that there's a sharp turn coming up ahead. Yeah, you're the rally driver. You're driving. It's kind of trying to help. Yeah, it's like I've been told it's like a 7-year-old who's read the documentation, doesn't always understand what you are asking, doesn't always be able to say it back to you. That's good enough. So in that case, what it does is it enables you to get most of the way there. Just like the rally copilot enables you to slow down a bit and turn right and not go straight on into the river, this is going to enable you to keep moving forward faster. So I think right now, today, absolutely. Because you need to check. Yeah, you need a Dutch person to be able to tell you actually what this is saying. Because it might have said absolute rubbish. Yeah. So you still need to validate what you're putting in, because you're still going to need to associate it with the correct work item. Quite often when I'm doing this, if I'm working on a particular epic, I'll just put that into that commit message generator. Then I don't forget to associate the commit with the work item. Yeah, because it's super easy to do. Oh, this is a da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I'm coming to lunch. Yeah. Don't go without me. Hang on. Yeah. If I've got this and I can press the button, I know that it's going to have that link already in place. So if you use it smartly, it can really save your time. Any more questions for any more? Yes, boss.
Jonathan, if I would correct me, you can invalidate text that you have that dash item linked in the message for you can file.
Excellent. So my friend made a comment that if you use a commit hook, then you can absolutely ensure that you have included the hash in your commit message and you have the link there available and ready. So there's, we can do it both ways. We can do it before we send it and we can check again afterwards. Perfect. Okay. It's close enough in time. I think we can say, my name is Rob. You will always find me in those places. I will make sure the PowerPoint is up. Thank you very much for coming and talking about commit messages.